Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 196, entitled Updates and Hacks, as we're going to be talking all about updates. We got Mario Maker 2 update, we got Animal Crossing update, and we got a hack of Nintendo Network. And we got some other news tonight we'll talk about as well. My name is Steve, but I'm also joined by Barry. As always. Hey, Barry. How's it going?
Hey, doing well. I thought we were going to talk about the Dragalia Lost update. Man, I tuned into the wrong show.
Well, if you want to talk about that update, you can. But but I did see you got the memo about the color coordinating tonight and theme
Damn
coordinating.
straight.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Someone didn't, because there was no memo. We just somehow, Barry and I, read each other's minds. Greg, we're gonna have to tune you in sometime to read our minds.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a Zelda shirt. It's not in that flavor of green, but it is like a Zelda shirt nonetheless. So I do have other green ones that are like that color, just not a video game style shirt.
Nice.
But yeah, it's good to be here and always glad to be on.
Yes, for sure. And we're not alone. It's us three, but we have a full chat room of people that are joining us. If you've never joined us live, you should join us live. We go live pretty much every other Tuesday with this podcast, and we love interacting with you guys on the chat on YouTube. So be sure to do that. Speaking of which, one particular person we'd like to call out tonight in our chat room, who's pretty much there every week, very active in our Discord. It's Jakster's birthday today. So happy birthday, Jakester. Greg has prepared a full rendition of an 8-bit birthday that he will now sing for you. Go ahead.
I know you're just kidding, because I sure don't. I wish I did.
You mean you didn't get that memo, Greg? You had one
so
job
many
tonight.
memos that were
Steve
lost.
already said the memos didn't come this way, so it got lost in wherever, the internet, the mail. I don't know how you sent it. So
Nice. Gabriel's joining us. I think, what is he? He's from Holland, I think, or Netherlands, whatever that goes by. I think that's where he's from. It's 3 a.m. there. We're so glad that you guys are joining us from all over the world. We're international now, guys. We're international. It's awesome.
I feel so sorry for the world.
I feel so yeah, if you guys have never joined us before, thanks so much for being here. Hit that bell, hit that subscribe button on YouTube or wherever you're listening. If you're listening after the fact on a podcast app, thanks so much for doing that as well. And share this out with other Nintendo fans that you know. We would love to be able to reach more people, talk to more people about games. And if you haven't joined us on social media and Discord yet, be sure to do that. All the links are in the description down below, in the show notes on our on the podcast as well. And we'd love to connect with you guys between shows. That's a perfect way to do that. Keep talking games. But speaking of talking games, let's talk about what we've been playing lately. Let's go to Greg first.
So this update's going to be surprising you guys out of the water, because I have more than one game to talk about.
Really?
For once.
Wow.
So
okay, I'm ready.
I actually let's see if I can count them up really quick. I think it's actually right about 4 outside of Fire Emblem Heroes.
All right.
So I've been quite busy playing games, especially with my daughter Belle, who's absolutely getting very fascinated by a number of the games that I'll be talking about. So without further ado, we did complete Yoshi's Crafted World, beat the final boss, got the last gem. So before I had stopped playing over pretty much a year ago, I think, I'd only gotten the first gem. So together we got the last 4 gems and beat the rest of the levels. Definitely not 100% completion, but I have been very slowly knocking away levels at the very early on ones, and not sure if I'll continue going through with that. The next game we've been playing, I guess replaying in my eyes, is the Untitled Goose game. So I recently discovered you could have a player 2 active, and then both players are controlling the goose at the same time. So I thought that was really cool, where I can help make her run or help guide her into certain directions when she's not making it move. So we've been having a lot of fun replaying a lot of the missions and just doing silly things as the little goose.
Nice.
All right. Then I over the weekend, I purchased that game Good Job, and then Belle also got really into that. Like, she thought it was really fun just destroying the workplace and using, like, creating little slingshots and sending, like, copiers and chairs and all sorts and people, like, flying, like, across the room and everything and destroying stuff. It's actually quite a little cool game. And then I did a little bit of solo time to discover that the idea is to not break as like try to minimize the amount of damage you're doing to actually solve it like more perfectly. So obviously we won't be doing that when we're playing together, but I thought that was an interesting note considering how they're like advertising. You could just like, oh, destroy everything, blow up walls, and like so you do get like you get like a letter grade on your how much like damage and stuff that and money you collected from it. So
Okay.
it is a quite a fun little game that also has co-op, so you're both playing at the same time, and the camera gets kind of finicky when you're on both sides of the level because it tries to do like a split screen, but if the one player's on the top, then it's like split screen in half, or if it's like on the left, then it like goes left and right split screen, so it's like shifts unless you guys are both like in the same neutral area, then obviously it'd just be full screen for both of you. But I thought that was kind of interesting the way they implemented that. Let's see, and then obviously still playing Animal Crossing. We're doing that together as well. We're just bought some more art pieces tonight, and I watched a few tips and tricks videos and discovered stuff that I wish the game would have told me I could do. So I just discovered you can actually make a money tree that will drop money. When you guys were talking about money trees, I thought you were just referring to the $100 that just drops from the bottom. Like, yeah, I got a couple money trees. Like, not realizing you can make it drop like 10 grand or whatever,
right?
And get really easy money. So, kind of wish the game would have told you stuff about that.
Those are the fun things you just get to learn as you go. And many of us that played it like 15 years ago realized it, and they keep it going. But those are fun little Easter eggs that you get to learn.
It's not supposed to hold your hand. I mean, it's supposed to be an exploration and discovery type game.
I don't think that falls into that category. It seems like it's more like a... So I think I summed it up before I got the game as more of like a life simulator, because you're like, oh, let's pull some weeds, let's plant some trees, let's water some flowers. It's like I could do that outside too. So I say it's a life simulator.
It's a perfect quarantine life simulator.
Yep, and then obviously just still doing the dailies in Fire Emblem Heroes, and obviously the Golden Week is upon us like in the next week or so. So there's lots of new things coming through because Japan has this like Golden Week celebration where lots of kids get extra cash to spend. So could be like new bundles available in Japanese style games for purchases. Not sure if Dragalia Lost will be getting stuff like that too, but I know Japan's pretty heavy on celebrating Golden Week, so it's a heads up for anyone that plays some Japanese games.
Nice, cool. Barry, what have you been playing lately?
I actually I don't have the same like large list, but I have been playing a few things. I have been playing Animal Crossing, of course. Still doing that every day. Trying to make some money on the stock market right now. So if anyone has good bell price or a good turnip prices, let us know in the Discord, please. I bought a lot this week. I need to sell. I'm also playing Damaged in Transit, which is a game we will be doing as a game chat later this week, which is a very fun indie game from a friend of mine, and I definitely recommend giving that checking that out. And if you actually go to my Twitter, there's a contest right now going on to actually win a copy of that. So please go to my Twitter and join that contest. I think that's mainly it for the Switch. On the PS4, I've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda, which is a game I really just started to kill time before Trials of Mana came out, and despite its bugs and glitches and oddities, I still fell in love with it because I love the Mass Effect games. I haven't played one since 3 came out in like 2012 or whatever, 2011. So it's like, oh, it's so good to go back into that style world. And I'm playing on the easiest level, but I'm just engrossed in it. And I love the lore, and I love BioWare's storytelling. And it's not the best game. In fact, I will definitely say it's the weakest of the 3 previous ones, but I'm having fun with it. and that's to me all that matters. So I'm hoping to finish that this week to start Trials of Mana. Still doing Final Fantasy 14. Big updates coming to that game, so super excited about it. But like everything, it's been delayed by COVID. Still doing Dragalia, which is not doing anything for Golden Week, but it is in fact doing something for Fire Emblem crossover. They're rerunning the Fire Emblem crossover right now, and a brand new one starts, I think, tomorrow. So I don't know if you're aware, Greg, but if you're a Fire Emblem fan, this might be something you're interested in. Give it a shot. That's pretty much it. I've stopped Pokemon Go. I'm still doing Mario Kart Tour, but just casually. But yeah, not as heavy as Greg this week or this time.
Nice.
And actually, I did forget that I did start the Bravely Default 2 demo, but that was only
nice.
for like an hour, and I barely got started.
That's
It
such
was
a demo.
And I do know that I did see the difficulty bump because it's like I'm only dying at the first couple monster fights that I'm playing.
You'll get it.
Yeah. I have been playing a couple different games as well this week. So I've got my standard ones of Rocket League, which I actually didn't play that much Rocket League this week because I was playing some other things. Also, weird thing happened, but I don't know if it's because I've been on the computer and playing games a little more lately, but my left wrist and hand started really cramping up and giving me issues over this past, like at the end of the last week and over the weekend. It was crazy. So it was really difficult in all this quarantine stuff to not play video games because I was like, I had time and I really wanted to play some games, but I'm like, I should really rest my wrist so it gets better. And so we watch more TV and things like movies and things like that. But I was bummed for like 4 or 5 days when I was trying to wait for my wrist to get better. But it's all better now, so we're good. So yeah, kind of cut me back on some Rocket League play, but did play some Animal Crossing. I like how Animal Crossing is so casual that and I could even just like play with an index finger, like moving it around instead of holding it like traditionally. I'd still try to get my daily Animal Crossing in, even though I couldn't grip a controller like normal. And then played some Jackbox games, which is pretty much a weekly thing with a couple groups that I play with. And then a couple other games that I played. So my wife's birthday was actually last week as well, and she's a huge fan, as I've talked about, of Bubble Bobble. And so I ended up getting Bubble Bobble for 4 friends for her, and we played that on Saturday, which is another game that's like great because I didn't have to use my thumb too much, and it was starting to get better at that time, so it was great. That game is fun, I will say, but it captures the original really well. And one thing they keep doing is they keep bringing in like pretty much every new version of Bubble Bobble. They put the original game in every time. So this time it had the arcade version, so you can just keep hitting credits and just keep playing, even if you die a lot, which I do. But the new game is fun. Here's the deal, though. It's a $40 game, and it pretty much only has 5 worlds, and I think there's like 25 level or 20 levels or something like that in each of them. We pretty much beat the whole game in maybe 2 to 3 hours. No, 3 hours, something like that, for a $40 game. And then it has the original arcade on it. Now, I didn't 100% it, didn't give all the stars and all that sort of thing. But to beat the game in like 3 to 4 hours on and I don't even think that was just regular difficulty. You can go back through it on hard difficulty if you want. But it was like, that's kind of a jip. Like I would have pictured this game maybe like $25, $30, but a full $40, game was like, I expected more content from that. So I was a little bummed on that, but we had a lot of fun with it. I just think it's overpriced. And
there's information about that actually.
Oh, really?
I'll talk about it after you finish.
Okay, sure. And then and then I think it was like Friday night, Saturday night. One of those times I think it was Saturday night, and I got tired of just watching TV because I feel like I've done a lot of that recently, and so I ended up bringing out my SNES controller and hooked it up to the SNES online and played Super Mario World. And beat a couple worlds of that. That was like late at night, and I was just like, I'm just going to play Super Mario World. And so that was was fun. It was fun to just to play some old school games. Played a little bit of Super Mario Maker 2 as well, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So, did you find what you're looking for? If not, I can go to the chat and they can talk about.
No, I did.
Okay.
Because of this, Bubble Bobble Forever or for Friends is one of those weird titles that not only does it have a retail release, but it also has a limited release from Strictly Limited, which is a European company. And of course, I pre-ordered it there, and then the American U.S. release was announced. I'm like, great, double dip kind of deal. But what's interesting is Strictly Limited sent out an email, and this was in March 31st, so less than a month ago at this point. Talking about it, saying that due to listening closely to feedback and media reviews, and while the feedback is favorable, fans all around the globe requested more gameplay content to take the beloved dragons to the next level. That's why Taito recently decided to create a free expansion pack with more stages and an enhanced gameplay to make Bubble Bobble for Friends an even better experience than it already is. While additional high-quality gaming content is always welcome, especially being free of charge, it obviously poses some problems for preservation in a physical copy. So they're actually going to be redoing their physical copy when that comes out with all the physical, all the digital stuff on it. But there is, in fact, a free update coming for that game with more content because other people have complained about that. So that's good news for you.
Yeah, that is good news. And glad to hear that my review is pretty much the same as everybody else's. Great game, just not enough there. So
I felt kind of the same about Super Lucky's Tale, because that also was a $40 game and there was only like 5 or 6 worlds in it too. So yeah,
I wish there was more to that game. But it's a fun ride during the whole experience.
Oh yeah, this is nowhere near like it's still like it was more than 3 hours worth than obviously that Steve had, but it's definitely nowhere more than like 15 or 20. I don't think.
Yeah. If we had 15 or 20 hours in Bubble Bobble, that would have been great. Like I was just like, oh cool, I'm glad we beat it, and that's fun to do with my wife. But I'm like, wait, we just started a couple hours ago, so which. It's a good feeling, but yeah, still.
I guess it's always that arcade feel where it's like, oh, you still win after a couple hours, just if you were just putting quarters in a machine for.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. Gabriel's actually asking when I'm going to stream New Horizons again. I was going to do it recently, and then my hand was hurting, and I wanted to, hold off. And so, yeah. Plus, there's some times where you just like, I know, like after I've gotten into streaming a little bit more here recently, there's just times that I'm like, you know what, I just want to play a game for myself. I wonder, like those guys that like stream all the time, like when they finally get to that point, you're like, you know what if I just want to play a game just for me and not have to have everybody watch it all the time. So I think that's kind of how I got to, like, with my hand and my wrist, plus also I was just like, I just want to play for me. But probably coming up soon. Maybe this Saturday. We'll see. Let's see. Jakester's been watching people stream. Good job. Speaking of streaming, he said it's hilarious. And then he's also, let's see, I lost track of a whole lot of stuff here. So, Huston's in the chat. He's been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Big surprise. And then we'll talk about this in a little bit, or actually at the end of the podcast. But yeah, the Ninjala exclusive Ninja Club came out today for free. I have not played it, but I did download it. So that's on my list of things to play soon. But haven't checked it out yet. I'm sure other people talked about what they've been playing, but I have lost it. The chat moved too much since we started talking about this, so I apologize. Throw it in there again if you if I've missed it. So I'll rip Steve's hand. It's better now, Jakester. It's better. So all right, so let's get into a little bit of the news. There has actually been some bigger stuff over the last couple weeks that we could talk about. And first of all, we'll talk about the Super Mario Maker 2 update, and that dropped April 21st, I believe, was the day that they announced it, or the 20th they announced it, and then it actually dropped on April 22nd. And actually, Greg, do you feel comfortable just kind of running through everything? You wrote the article on it, so I figure I could. You're like the
I
expert
can.
there. So share with us what's came in this new update, what's involved and included and all that sort of thing in this Super Mario Maker 2 update, which makes it version 3, I believe.
I think so. I don't know the version. I don't always keep track of all the version numbers of anything. So, yeah. So, I think we had. Did we even briefly discuss this at all, or not at all?
Not really, I don't think.
Okay.
No.
All right. I just didn't want to be like double dipping anything that I've already previously explained. All right. So, like from the trailer, we got a bunch of new. Most of it was like new costumes and with a few new parts here and there. One of the big headlining pieces was the Super Mario Brothers 2 Mario, which is compatible in the Super Mario Brothers 1 game style, and pretty much it makes your game kind of sound and look like Super Mario 2. So you're able to like jump onto Goombas and pick them up and throw them at like other things like coin blocks or other enemies and to defeat them. So it creates a lot of new different combinations for gameplay dynamics. Also, you're able to do like that little crouch jump I saw. I was watching some people play through the update. So like you can even like hold down and then like flash and then like it gets a little bit extra of a height jump. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. That wasn't really included in the actual video. You can also obviously pick up like bullet bills and chain chomps and all sorts of other enemies. So it's not just like limited just like Goombas or Koopas or stuff like that. So, and even snowballs on the snow levels. Then for Super Mario Brothers 3, you can actually use the frog suit, and so it kind of looks and controls just like it did in Super Mario 3 underwater. But a new element they added is you can run along the top of the water. That was actually really cool to see, carry like a POW or a P-switch or something and just be sprinting across the top of the water. And that also adds some new gameplay dynamics that you could add to your levels, like the rising water levels and stuff like that. So let's see. For new Super Mario Brothers U, or no, actually I think it was Super Mario 3D World, got the boomerang costumes. You can like throw boomerangs and with those clear pipes you can set all sorts of crazy contraptions to have the boomerang travel through like a different set path and like collect items and hit blocks and all sorts of crazy stuff with that. In addition, there's like 5 new hats on that style. There's like a cannon box head that you can shoot like the little cannonballs out. You can charge it up to get a little bit longer distance with that one. There's also a POW block hat where you can use it 3 times and it'll just kind of destroy stuff like in the close proximity to Mario where he's standing. You can trigger like blocks and defeat enemies and the normal stuff that the POW does. There's the Goomba hat where you can kind of fool a number of enemies so then they don't go after you. This includes like Goombas who in that style actually will kind of charge at you and kind of aim towards you in that one. And against like Boom Boom, he just pretends like you're just an enemy and doesn't even attack you. You can jump on him all 3 times and he won't even fight back. That's actually kind of funny. There's the bullet hat where you can kind of fly horizontally and you get like a couple seconds of flight, and then you can always keep triggering it so you can kind of just fly like horizontally all across like for some really long levels for some new ways to play through that. New Super Mario Brothers U got the flying squirrel costume, so you're able to like kind of like grip onto the wall and then also kind of do that gliding technique, like just fly kind of through the level through there. Super Mario World, they added that P balloon power up, like the power balloon, and you can kind of like it was kind of new where you can kind of like shoot yourself, like propel yourself, like go faster in the air, which is kind of neat. So that was looking pretty cool. Let's see. Then some of the last major stuff was the Koopalings. So like Larry, Morton, Iggy, Wendy, Ludwig, Roy, and Lemmy all appear in all 4 of the game styles. And you can have, I think, like up to like 7 of each of them on the screen at once or something like that. So they all have their own techniques and different ways to fight them in all the different game styles from Mario 1 to Super Mario Brothers, or new Super Mario Brothers U. They're all like kind of look and feel different and behave differently in each game. They also added the Mecha Koopas to all the game styles as well, where they were originally in Super Mario World, where they just kind of just walked around and kind of tried to get you. But now there's like a red one that can shoot some like homing missiles at you, and the blue one can shoot lasers. And apparently, in all the night themes, they can actually like do like, some rocket jump boosts to like fly through the air. So that was pretty cool as well. Going back to Super Mario Brothers, the cursed key was added from Super Mario Brothers 2 that will trigger the Phantos to kind of chase down the player that has the key. So I think that's more as like that multiplayer dynamics. I know there's a lot of people like to troll with the key and like don't want you going like to the door and stuff. So that could be create some hilarious multiplayer levels for Super Mario Brothers 1. There's a on and off trampoline in Super Mario 3D World style that like triggers with the on and off switch, so you can like turn it on, and then otherwise it's like a non-existent platform when you turn it off, and create some other dynamics with that. And then finally, the biggest, most exciting part of it all is the world builder. So you can create up to 8 worlds, and each world can have 10 levels for a total of 40 courses. You can make a whole game if you want to. They allowed it full world map configurations where you can say where you want your levels to be. You can make the path, and you can have obviously split paths that unlock when you complete a level and have like optional levels. They even have like the little card game from Mario 3. It's available in all 3 styles too, where you can get just some extra 1-ups. I did see some footage in action, and you can actually, it's like kind of like the Endless Mario where you start with like 3 or 30 lives, and then you can still like earn lives and stuff in between the levels within the world, which is also really cool too. So yeah, I'm really excited to try it out. Unfortunately, I didn't really load up the game this last week, but I'm anticipating to jump into it and possibly start making like a new level by the time the next podcast goes on. So yeah, what do you guys think of the update? Did you guys start playing it again? I think Steve mentioned it, but is that enough for Barry to jump back in?
I downloaded the update. I'm planning on messing around with it. It's just a matter of time, and it's like, do I want to do that? No, I want to do more Animal Crossing or Mass Effect stuff right now, and Chasm of Mana is right over there, and it's something I will go back to, and I'm sure if we did some kind of contest or something, it would push me back to it. But, kind of like how Steve was saying about, like, oh, right now I just want to play games for me. That's kind of me right now. I want to play games for me.
Yeah, for sure. I did check it out. I didn't play around with it too much. I had actually barely touched the last update, and so a lot of things were very new for me when I jumped into this one, and actually quickly got overwhelmed. And I've said this before. Like I appreciate Super Mario Maker and other games like it for playing worlds and playing levels that other people make. Like I'll create a little bit, but most of my time with the game will always be playing more than building. And so I messed around with the builder a little bit, and eventually I forgot even like how to access like the other alternatives for everything. I was trying to still shake it like you did in Mario Maker 1. And I was like, oh yeah, they changed that. What did they do again? And it took me a bit to like figure out which button was to press to access the other options and everything. Played around with the Super Mario Brothers 2 Mario a little bit. Played around with Link because I barely actually touched Link before, and so that was fun to play through a level with him. And then, yeah, I didn't really mess with the new elements too much, but then I went into the world builder like player side of it, which is confusing because on the builder side of things you have, I think it's course bot and world bot, but when you go to the play side of things, it's just all course bot, and you have an additional button to play worlds. But and I died a lot because there's some really difficult levels that they recommended. So it's kind of cool because you can build. It's not just like a one thing. You can build like a several world game essentially. Like you make your
Yep.
own, game, which I think I missed that somewhere along the line. And so when I dived into it, it was like, oh, this is really cool, because some of them had like 5 different worlds that they had strung together, which was really cool. And yeah, there's a few of them that were incredibly difficult. I tried to speed run one, and it was so tough. Like I kept dying because you have to make every move. Just every move is so precise. But then tried another difficult one. That was pretty cool because those were fun. They were like just difficult enough, but not like too impossible. So it kept going back and forth, or back for more. And yeah, so I had fun with it. I didn't play through it a whole lot, but I'm really excited to see what people are going to make. My biggest complaint about all of this, like, is it's a fantastic update. Like, really, I don't think I realized how much there was until you started going over everything, Greg. I was like, wow, there's so much in this game with this update. But why not include another world? Like, why not include that last little theme? Like, if you pull it up, it still has a little blank spot there that you'd think, oh, there's another one that's supposed to go there. They didn't even slide it over to like center it for the new one. There's still enough space there for another thing, and this is supposed to be their last major update. So I would assume like a new theme would be another major update, right? Like they wouldn't release that.
No.
Like, so I'm guessing we're not going to get that. But why tease us with something that is never going to come?
I don't know. I think they did get some backlash on how a lot of the 3D world stuff isn't able to be put into the previous 4 games, and some of the elements in those games are not in 3D world. So I think that since they kind of orphaned it off, I think they may have had plans for a second style along that nature, but then they're like, well, people don't really like how they have to like rebuild the entire level, because like as soon as you hit 3D world, it'll pretty much cleans your entire slate out if you already were starting to build it in Mario 1. So
Yeah.
I don't think they wanted another situation like that, and probably just decided against adding another style in.
Yeah, I think they were going to, and I almost feel like Mario Maker 3 might be in the works. Like, this is the final update. We're doing all this stuff now, and they have something big planned for 3. And I think if they're going to use the whole, remember back in the 90s when it was a cool thing for the third game of any series to be 3D, kind of deal. Earthworm Jim did that, Bubsy did that, stuff like that. But I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to do Mario Maker 3D, where you're going to be able to do, 3D style Mario worlds, and really expand upon it. And that I made pipe dream, but that's the only reason I can see them not continuing Mario Maker 2 content, especially right now. It's not that hard to do. It's not that hard to keep adding to. Why aren't you adding to it? Well, but the developer's on something else. Mario Maker 2 has already sold a lot, and it's sold pretty much what it's going to sell. It's going to still continue, but it's not a huge, big push. It's a year old at this point, or practically a year old. And these updates, the developers are working on them and making them for free. There is no cost to this. So they're clearly spending their time and effort and energy to enhance a game, make it more appealing, but now it's time to move on. And I'm fine with that. I mean, the Mario Maker 2 did not make the splash they were expecting. It did not catch fire like Mario Maker 1, which is sad because when Mario Maker 1 came out, they had that whole YouTube restrictions, and Mario Maker 1 could have been so much bigger. And milking it to the 3DS didn't do it any justice. It's just, I don't think Mario Maker 2 performed the way they expected.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I think it's also kind of a different time. I mean, Wii U was really struggling for stuff, so I think that's where the community really was able to rally together and kept the game continue going all the way through the Wii U's life cycle. So yeah. I think there's even some people that still play it because they really still like the Wii U version because they really like that amiibo costume that for some reason didn't make it over to the new one. But and then there could be some of those people that be like, oh well, I pretty much have this game already on Wii U. I don't need to buy pretty much an expansion pass for the Switch version as well too. So
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, how much of a following it did get on the on there. I don't know. But something important. I forgot I could do this. I'm gonna pull up. Maybe I can do this. Oni had an important comment here that I want to draw out here, and I'm gonna put it on screen. It even still says worlds. So like, why not take that? Like, that's crazy. Like, why not? Why not change that? It says worlds. It's still tempting me. I want another game mode.
Nintendo doesn't know what plural means, just like Valve doesn't know what the number 3 is.
That's so true. Here's one thing that we will be doing. We actually have been doing it, and we're going to be extending it. Is something we kind of casually started in our Discord, but we'd love to do a little contest. And especially now, I mean, this could be kind of fun. We could string some different levels together. Actually, that brings me to a question, Greg. You may need to answer this, or maybe Barry does too. But what can you string other people's levels together, or does it have to be only the ones that you've created?
I don't have a definitive answer, but I'm like 95% certain it's your own levels.
Okay.
Because I know they're very strict about like downloading levels and everything. Like they don't want you like stealing somebody else's and remaking it in your own style, and so you can't like open other people's levels in the editor. So I imagine if you're the one building the world, then it probably looks at your courses that you specifically made.
Okay,
so that's where I would draw to that conclusion. I mean, I haven't tested it out, but I'm nearly positive that's how it works.
That makes sense. The reason I asked is because it'd be really cool, like if we had like, so we're thinking about we're doing a contest, like a quarantine theme level sort of thing. So if you haven't joined our Discord yet, you can do that and then submit your quarantine theme levels. We're gonna play them, live stream them, and things like that, and kind of feature you guys in the future. But I thought it'd be really cool is if we created a world with all those levels like strung together and make a game out of it. But yeah, if we can't do that, then never mind. It would be cool if we could do though. So that'd be fun. Yeah. Any final thoughts about the Super Mario Maker 2 update before we move on to the other big update from the last week?
I'm sometimes excited to play it, but.
All right. So yeah, so we not only got an update from Super Mario Maker 2, but we also got an update from Animal Crossing New Horizons. So we got that April update. We knew it was coming, but we actually got it, and there were several things that were included in this update. Some of them were things that we'd actually kind of predicted, and Barry was really hoping that they would be included on the next update, and many of them were, including that update to the museum. So now we have the art gallery in the museum. We have Red as well, so Jolly Red has come there, so you can buy either real or fake pieces of art from him. We also have Leaf in his garden shop with the ability to buy shrubs and other flowers and things like that from him. So you can actually plant shrubs around it as well. And we have several different upcoming holidays and seasons, including Nature Day, May Day Tour, International Museum Day, and Wedding Season. Actually, Nature Day is going right now. So if you haven't checked it out yet, Nature Day is from now. It started on the 23rd of April and it goes to May 4th. But yeah, so we got Leaf's Garden Shop, Jolly Red's Treasure Trawler. That's how you pronounce that word. Trawler, Nature Day, May Day Tour, International Museum Day, Wedding Season, and a lot more kind of small updates that kind of go hand in hand with all that. So yeah, have you guys got a chance to, I'm assuming, play through all the new things and experience them all? So what do you guys think of the April update for Animal Crossing? Barry, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's good. It's anything's better than the bunny day. I wish Red was around a little more often. And I know, like in the original, he wasn't around all the time. But I think it's more noticeable this time simply because, you know, since launch we've been working on our museum, the bugs and the fish and the fossils. And now to get the painting, it's like, oh, well, we're so far behind. It's, you know,
right.
And to catch up, it's not only is it one a day, but it's not even one a day. You know, I've only had red once.
Really?
Well, twice technically. Once when he first shows up because it's scripted, and then only once since.
Oh, interesting.
So it's random when he shows up, and since you can only buy one thing, and then you have to wait till the next day, and it's like, I feel like it's artificially padded. And I get that Animal Crossing is not a marathon. We're not a sprint; it's a marathon. But it's still, because it's behind the others. I want to, like, even one a day is fine. At least let me get one a day. So I think that's kind of my biggest grief. Leaf was cool, getting some shrubs and stuff. Although he's not every day either, which I was surprised. I'm like, oh, I figured he would be here every day. But I mean, those are some of the major things. Like the wedding thing, I don't even know if that's in the game yet, or if it is, I haven't experienced.
The season is June 1st through 30th, basically the month of June. But yeah, I don't think the update's there to include it, but I think you have to wait until that time.
Yeah, the May trip I'm looking forward to. I really want to see how they include Rover. I don't know if it's like a one-time deal during that week period, or if you do it once a day, or you can do it multiple times. But that I'm looking forward to. Mm-hmm. But overall, they've stated that they're going to be updating this game for the long haul, and I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm. I think Animal Crossing is one of those games that absolutely should get constant updates, constant new things. My biggest fear is getting my island just the way I want it, everything perfect. Then they're going to announce something like, oh, now you can do this. And it's like, I have no room for that anymore. I got to destroy my whole island. No, what are you doing to me? But yeah, overall, I'm happy with it.
Yeah. My wife was actually asking me the other day, because she watches me play quite often, and I told her the other day, I was like, you'd really probably enjoy this game. She's like, I probably would. It sounds, I know she loves it's cute and everything when she watches me play. And then I told her about she's like, so if I play on yours, like, do we get to like share the same house? And I was like, well, no, technically you have a separate house. But she's like, oh, can we get married? I was like, well, there's a wedding season coming up. I'm pretty sure it doesn't involve the players getting married, but who knows? I mean, they could sneak something in there, but I don't think that's the case. But she was all wanting to, like, have a relationship in the game and everything. So
honestly, if she's going to play the game, the best advice I could give you is buy a second copy of the game. Because if you play with the same game, you're playing on the same island. You can only play solo, or if you play together, it's very limited. One person is the main person, the other person just is a helper. You're limited to like the 4 fossils a day and the two furniture in the tree a day, etc. But if you each have your own, then you can visit each other. You can trade, like, oh, I got this duplicate fossil, but you need it, I can help you out. Or, oh, I have this in the shop and you have that in the shop. And you kind of start getting double of everything. And that's how my wife and I have been playing, and it's much better that way. Yeah. Plus, she can then have creative control over her island and how she wants it, and set it up the way she wants, especially once you get terraforming.
Yeah, it's true. Greg, what do you think of this update? I mean, this is your first time in Animal Crossing, so all of this is pretty much new for you. But yeah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. Leaf hasn't even stopped by on my island a single time yet, so I haven't seen him. I don't know where he's been.
Huh.
I've been usually go over the entire island every day to do dailies, like hitting all the rocks and trees and stuff. I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he'll pop up right in the city center, like right in front of the building there. But that's interesting. So you've had Red not that much. I've seen both of them quite a bit, actually, since the update.
Yeah, Red was he was there on the day the update launched, and then he came by, I think pretty much it was either the next day or the day after, and he disappeared for a while, and then he just came back today. So it was my second time seeing him today. The main thing I don't like is how he sells fakes, but
oh, that's the whole thing with Red. That's how he's always been.
But to your point, Barry, they're like, if he comes every day, like, you may not even get a good one every day.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
but he also sells furniture.
Is he guaranteed to have like one real one?
He's guaranteed to have one real one.
Is
And
it
there's
only one, or could it be two, or?
I don't know about that, but I do know that there are certain paintings and statues that there are no fake versions. Like it's 100% guaranteed to be real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But the best thing you can do is look online for a guide, or in our Discord, Jakester posted.
Yeah, the only one I've gotten so far is one that I knew was totally real, and it was the perfect painting, I think is what it's called. But yeah, and that's actually the reason why I never went after the art in the old Animal Crossing games because of that. Because I was like, I don't want to waste my bells and buy fake stuff, and so I never went after the art. I got all the fish and the bugs and the fossils and everything, but the art was always something I never really bothered with.
Well, now hopefully you do.
We'll see. Yeah, so I thought the first one I was buying looked like a legit one to me, but apparently it was a fake. So, my daughter Belle bought one today. I think it might be the real one. I already had identified two of the ones that he had were definitely fake, so I was like, no, we're not buying either of those for sure. But I did see something, if you have multiple people on your island, you can have each person buy each piece. So if you have like 4 counts on your island, you can just go through and buy all 4 things. So therefore you're guaranteed any of the real ones, with two of them just kind of unlocking out, getting obviously the gypped out. So
yeah. That's a way to game it.
Yeah. Although if there's only one per visit, then as long as you have
it's one per person, but yeah, as long as he's there throughout the day, you just log in with the different accounts throughout the day.
Nice.
Yeah, a little visit there. She's talking Animal Crossing.
She's like, Greg's talking about Animal Crossing. I got to join in too.
We played Animal Crossing, honey.
No, we played Animal Crossing, but you kept.
We have another guest on the podcast tonight. So yeah, hey, Roth's in the chat, and Oni, we said hi Oni earlier, but yeah, hey Roth. Roth's big. He just got his Switch and just got into Animal Crossing, which is really exciting as well. Roth's a longtime fan of the podcast as well. So yeah, so what do you guys think about like the days that are coming up, the seasons and everything like that? For Animal Crossing, like in the past, it's always a game that I never really fully participated in those special seasons and those special days. Like this year for Bunny Day, this is the first time I'd ever done anything with Bunny Day before. And so like, what do you guys think about those? Like, are they any of them that you're particularly excited about? I know Barry, you mentioned the Mayday tour earlier.
Obviously I'm excited for that, but no, see, with Animal Crossing, I didn't play City Folk. New Leaf I did quite a bit, and Wild World just a very little bit. But the original Animal Crossing, I played that every day for over a year. Every single event I did, every oh my god. So I like the events. That they're definitely one of those things where like, the first day is super exciting, and by like day 5, you're like, "Can we move on?" I think people experience that very much with Bunny Day this year, which is naturally different than the Bunny Days of the past. But it's one of those things that you will just play through periodically. Although for me, my fear comes when I start Trials of Mana, because I am starting that on the Switch, or continuing my demo on the Switch, which means I have to take my Animal Crossing card out. And that's one of those things where it's like, oh, now I got to swap cards, and Animal Crossing is going to be a morning and night type thing and not middle of the day type thing. But I already actually did
digital.
Screw that. I already have taken it out. I did forget to mention I did the Smash Brothers had a Trials of Mana Spirit event, so I actually did pop it out to do that. So it's not uncommon, but it's fine too, because Animal Crossing is one of those games where you can play for 30 minutes to an hour a day, and you can get everything done, and it just becomes a slow burn progressive thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's when you have friends that play, that's where it's more engrossing. Although they really need to fix that horrible lag when you go to other people's islands. Not the lag while on the island, but when people enter and leave, because that lockdown is just brutal.
Yeah. You almost like you have to like plan out your things. You can't just casually just bounce around to different islands. Almost like, hey guys, we're on there and we're gonna say for the next hour we're gonna play together, and then we're gonna hop off, because that could get really annoying if you're just want to bounce around.
Oh, I did an island to sell my turnips, and oh my god. It was like I landed there, took 3 steps, new person coming, took 2 more steps, new person coming, took 2 more steps, someone leaving, 2 steps, and it was unbelievable. It took me 40 minutes to get to the shop, sell my turnips, and leave.
Wow. Yeah. Greg, are there any of the upcoming days and seasons that you're excited about? Any of them kind of jump out to you?
Most of them seem kind of. I was kind of reading through them. Doesn't really seem like anything spectacular. I mean, the Bunny Day thing was like, but I still got it completed and everything. So, the Nature Day thing. I mean, I was increasing my star rating for the last like week or whatever. So, I think KK Slider's finally ready to show up for a concert. Like he just left feedback on the island last night and agreed to come do a concert. I don't know why he wasn't there today, but I don't know how long that takes.
He comes on Saturday night? Is that right?
Saturday at 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's a certain day. I didn't even know that.
Well, no. He will. The first time he will come the next day after the feedback.
Oh, okay.
And once that happens, then you get to get terraforming right after that. But then he'll start showing up every Saturday at 6.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Does he show up at like the tent, the campground thing, or does
No,
he have his
shows
own
up right in
thing?
the plaza. You can't miss him, and you get a song every single time. And you can also request a song, and there's a couple hidden songs that you can only get if you request.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
And
yeah, because I've been
go ahead.
buying his CDs for quite a long time, and my player thing has at least like I think close to 20 of them.
Nice.
Very nice.
I don't know how many there are.
Yeah.
I think 90 something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot of game in this, and that's the crazy thing is it starts with so much game, and then they'll keep adding these updates. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what they do in the future. Barry is a long time like, so we're gonna have the 3 different perspectives here. You're the long time player. I've played kind of somewhere in the middle, and with Greg, this is his first one. So, are there any updates or things maybe from past games that you really want to see in a future update that they have not added just yet?
The answer to that is simple, and I think it's simple to anybody who is a longtime Animal Crossing fan, and that is bring back the classic games. There was nothing better than getting a classic NES game that you could then put in your house and actually play, especially because this is long before there was a virtual console or any way to legally play, those older games. And it was just such a cool way to pay homage to your classic library.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see them do that, even if it was just like a gateway to the Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
And even if they did it as a precursor, like we're gonna put in Animal Crossing first and then the Nintendo Switch Online, I'd be fine too. Something cool like that, almost like the Ambassador. How like they got the GBA,
Mm-hmm.
we got the GBA Virtual Console games from that, but then never came to the actual Virtual Console. Something cool like that.
Yeah.
I think that would just be really wild if they could do something like that, or just even make original mini games. I mean, or micro games. I mean, there's arcade cabinets that you can click and don't do anything.
Right.
Like make them so you can sit and play them. Other games have done that plenty of times in the past, including Nintendo's own games.
Yeah.
Let's get some games within the games, because sometimes you sit around and go, "What am I going to do? I should go play another game." Well, do something to encourage people to keep playing.
Right. Yeah, I think that'd be cool, and I'd like it to go either way. Really, I'd like it to. They could easily, make it a connection with the NES Online or SNES Online. I think it could be a kind of a, they could draw the 2 apps together in some cool way like that. Or it could be cool, like you said, to make new, and they could even be incredibly simple. like super simple games like jump as high as you can, or a basic platformer that just keeps repeating itself and you got to get a high score on it or something like that. It could be cool because you could have it'd be fun to even like build an arcade and have people come over and play your arcade games and things like that.
They could also make their own little, like, almost like the NES remix style thing. They could do crazy little things where it's like you're playing Mario 1, but you're a Samus kind of deal, but it's only playable in Animal Crossing kind of deal. Like this is exclusive. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Or those special editions they have on NES Online now, just move those into Animal Crossing.
Well, the special editions are really just
that's true.
But
like make them real special editions.
Yeah,
like the NES
like
remix.
That. I think people would go crazy for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially with like a collaboration. Like, oh, there's a new Mario Kart game coming, so now you can play Super Mario Kart in Animal Crossing. Like some kind of collaboration. I think that'd be great. Cross promotion works. It's proven it works.
Totally. Yeah. One of the things that I'm really hoping for kind of goes along the same lines, but I can't remember if it was Wild World or New Leaf that had the other. I think you could go to another island or another location and play games together. There it was like an additional thing, and that's what I would love for additional activities to be done, whether it's on the island or another island you go to with a friend. But you could go there and it's a multiplayer kind of experience, whether it's shoot down as many balloons as you can in a certain amount of time, or some of the people have been doing like hide and seek and things like that, but like a place that's actually designed around that. A fun thing to go and do together.
So now that you mentioned that, today I watched a video of someone made like a Deal or No Deal island.
Yes, I watched that. That's amazing.
And then there's like 12 different like briefcase, like bags of money from like 100 bells to 1,000,000 bells. So it's like, oh, which bag do you want to have put on your table? And then like you had like people pretend to be models and had like the banker was there too. So it's just like really cool design.
Nice.
I don't know if you've seen it or not, Steve. It is. I started watching it just for fun, and I wound up watching 30 minutes of a Deal or No Deal game. I was invested. I'm like, what's gonna happen?
That's awesome. Yeah, I love those. I mean, there's Rocket Sledge does Family Feud within Rocket League, and I'll watch those every time. So that's awesome. I'll have to look that up, check it out.
It is. So. I think the second thing I would like to be brought into this very heavily, because my first one was almost like a pipe dream. Like, I don't think they're ever going to go back to it, but it would be great. Is in New Leaf, there was the Dream place where you can go in and Dream Suite, and you can go see other people's houses. And not only was that great to get ideas, but then if they had a furniture you liked, you can order the furniture. So it's not like, oh, I hope I eventually come across that. It's, oh, I can just grab it now and order it for myself. You don't steal it from them. And that would be great, because as of now, like the way they're trickling things out, there's a ton of stuff, but you can see someone have something, and they can order from their catalog, which is fantastic. And I definitely order from the catalog all the time. But it's also one of those things where you need to know the people personally. If nobody you know personally has that item, then you have to go, hey, does anybody have this or this on forums? And it's a clunky go have them ship it to you or buy another copy. Like this would just it'd simplify it. Plus, you would get to see cool house designs.
So I remember wasn't like Reggie's house. You could go and visit Reggie's house on there, and that was so cool just to be able to go and check it out. And of course, he had some really awesome stuff. It was like, yes, order that. And it helped you progress in your house design a lot faster to really make it what you wanted. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah. So nice. Yeah. Yes, Roth saying, New Leaf was the one with the island with the mini games. Love that. So yeah, I think if we saw all three of those things come back, I think Barry and I would definitely be really happy, for sure. And then they could add some other new things. So.
I mean, I would really love the classic games. I mean, I've heard about that. There's even I think. Wasn't there like a game that had some like Nintendo themed like clothing, like Mario clothes or furniture or something like that?
Oh yeah, they did an event with Mario themed furniture in the original Animal Crossing. You could have like a pipe or like a flagpole, and you could click it, and it played the music going up and down as the flag went up and down. There was a pipe with a piranha plant that came out, I believe, and that whole Mario set, Mario wall, Mario floor. I don't know if they did it in other games, but they definitely in the original.
I think I remember it in Wild World. I think I can't remember if it was in New Leaf as well, but I'm pretty sure Wild World had it because that was pretty much just a bring it over to mobile or mobile handheld anyhow. So yeah, so cool. Well, that's the updates section of our podcast. Now we're gonna move into the hacks section of our podcast because we got updates and hacks tonight. And so was it last week? I can't remember the exact date of when all this went down, but there was a hack of the Nintendo Network ID. And if you're unfamiliar with Nintendo Network ID, that was the main way to log in to the 3DS and the Wii U, if I remember correctly. So before the Nintendo Online account, you had Nintendo Network ID. And that then was after the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, I believe, was before that. So they've kind of changed it every so many systems. But yeah, the Nintendo Network ID had a hack, and there was over 160,000 accounts that were hacked. And so if you used your Nintendo Network ID to log into your Nintendo Online account, they very, very highly recommended changing your password and adding two-step verification to your login. And then when you do that, be sure to also, or they did on their end, they changed it from being able to use that anymore. You cannot use the Nintendo Network ID any longer to log into your account. And so, that's really unfortunate. It seems like not too much of things were actually lost. I think it was like your name and I think maybe your location data, things like that. And they said if you did actually anybody accessed your account and bought things that you didn't want to buy or whatever, you can actually go in and request a refund for that. So it seems like they handled it well, I think, as well as can be expected. I mean, I think we all wish that they didn't have the hack to start with, but it seems like they did a pretty good job, at least from my perspective. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about the hack and how Nintendo handled it. Barry, what do you think about all this?
I think they handled it as well as can be expected. I mean, this is never good news, and I'm sure it's panic mode. But it's even worse because everyone's at home, so it's not even like panic mode in the office. It's panic mode in however many homes. So they're obviously restricted in what they're able to do. So they're doing the best they can, given the situation. I'd love to see them reach out and kind of give back to those that had it hacked. Obviously they have to, if you were hacked, you have to go through your credit card company and all that. And, obviously if you want to remove your saved credit card information, that makes it safer because even if they hack you, they can't buy anything. But, they could still be like, oh, here's some, points or something, or there's some money on the eShop as compensation, because I think that would be a good faith. Because now, if you're one of those that's hacked, not only are you out X amount of money, but maybe you can get it back from your bank. But now you got to deal with the time for the phone call, and I'm sure right now they're also limited on how many people they can answer the phone because of this COVID. So now you waste some of your day, and you may not have the time, and it's a pain in the butt. So I would love to see Nintendo do something to give back and say, hey, you know what? Here's, $30, here's $40. Nothing huge. It doesn't have to be here's everything, but sometimes a little generosity goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. Ross just mentioned the Wii U and 3DS eShop. We'll get to that in just a second because that's kind of a recent development. But I'd love to hear what you think, Greg, about this hack and everything as well.
Yeah, obviously it's very terrible to hear that happened, and it's obviously I think they handled it as well as they probably could. I don't know if they know whose data was retrieved or if they actually notified anyone that was affected. I don't know if they went that far, but I mean, I went through and actually changed my password and updated my set the two-factor authentication. I didn't know that wasn't even set up before. I was kind of surprised that those are something newer they didn't tell you to do. I couldn't tell if mine was like been used before, but I mean I don't keep any credit card saved on mine. I have always purchased like the eShop cards for the money. I don't like having my card.
There's a way.
On it.
If you go to the official site and log in, you can look in your settings and see all your login places, and you could see if anyone else has accessed it. Because you'll see like your computer, your Switch, your phone, whatever, and if you see something you don't recognize, you know you've been hacked.
Yeah, that's what I did, and I had to go, and I because I have a Japan account and an EU account because of Switches is allows you to do that and download from other eShops. So I don't do it very often, but I do have 2 other accounts and my wife's account that's on there, and I have another account for something else. And so I had to go through and check every one of them just to make sure they were all good, and they were. And I turned two-factor on and everything too. But yeah, there is a way to do that. But go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Yeah, so I just didn't know if they did anything like with notifications or anything, so I don't know. Yeah, so I went through and secured my account. I still have to change my password, but at least I enabled the two-factor authentication. I got that taken care of up front, so
cool.
Yeah. Other than that, it obviously really stinks to hear, and glad that they've at least like acknowledged it as soon as they realized it happened and didn't like wait like a month or two and like, oh, by the way, in March, 160,000 accounts got unauthorized access to.
Yeah. Jakester mentioned the ESA with the E3 docs and stuff like that. Yeah, there's definitely been some times in the past where companies have not handled things like this very well. So,
oh no.
So Nintendo, I think, like I said, as good of a job as I think they probably could have, given the situation. But they could, make it a little better if they kind of honor those people and say, hey, so sorry this happened. Here's some eShop credit, or here's a free game or something like that would be nice. They don't have to, but it would be a nice thing. So, Nintendo, if you're listening, because we know you are, throw that out there. That'd be great. Although like at that point, like if it's only the people that actually got hacked, then I'm not asking to be hacked, but it'd be nice to get a free game out of this.
Hold on, hacking Steve's account. Right,
I got two-factor on now. It's okay.
I know what Barry's plans are. He can hack Steve's account. Like, oh, looks like Steve gets Xenoblade 2.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what would happen.
You can just buy it for me. So
you know what? I would buy it for you if you actually played it. We got to play it to completion. I played it for 5 minutes.
We'll see. Maybe one of these days. I gotta. The problem is the huge backlog, but we'll see. We'll see one of these days. Let's chat real quick though, because it is kind of connected. Roth mentioned this in the chat, the Wii U and 3DS eShop. And I know this is something that will probably get you going, Barry and Spray. Once you saw this, you were like, "Oh, this just fuels my thoughts about digital." But in certain Latin American countries, they will be shutting down the Wii U and the 3DS eShop. And this is not all Latin American countries. This is, from what I gather, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, these are areas that they didn't have the full eShop anyway. It was kind of a limited eShop either on the Wii U or the 3DS. And they've just determined that it's excess money that they would rather like to save right now for running those servers, and they're going to be shutting down the eShop for the Wii U and 3DS in those countries. Those are for the most part smaller countries, a lot smaller user base in those countries. So it's not United States, it's not Mexico, it's not Brazil. Those countries still have a large user base. They're still going strong. So you can still play all those games. But yeah, I let's go to Greg first about these thoughts because I know Barry's got some thoughts, and I'll let Greg speak first.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think I know where Barry would be going with this. It's like, this is why everything should be physical. Wow. I'll let him go on his tirade in a little bit. But, I mean, it does stink to see those shut down. I mean, even like seeing like the Wii shop channels being shut down, like when it did, and the DSi shop and stuff. I mean, it's usually all a matter of time. I mean, I'm sure that they've done like their statistics and say like, hey, our Wii U and 3DS shop isn't being accessed very many times, or there's been very minimal amounts of purchases. We can probably repurpose those servers for other use, and that really stinks for residents of those countries, obviously. But I do understand that. Like, I think even in other countries, some of these games are a lot more expensive than we would see them here in the United States. So just because a game is like $7.99, like there it could still be like $20 or whatever it is, like in their own currency. And obviously their economy is not as stronger, and $20 is a lot more expensive, obviously. So I do understand that that's all a factor of it, and it's probably like as you were saying, Steve, they probably ran like the numbers and trying to see like, oh, we don't really have tons of use, not too many downloads, not too many minimal purchases. People are obviously more on the Switch and everything, so it can safely do away with the eShop on the 3DS and the Wii U.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. It's all yours, Barry. Go for it.
Oh, I wanted to hear Greg do it for me instead. Greg, why don't you just say what I'm going to say? Go for it.
everything needs to be on a physical disc, because now we have all these awesome games that you can't play because they're no longer going to be purchased on the shop, and you're missing out on such great games like But It'll Do and World of Goo and
on Switch, and this is World of Goo.
yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, this is common sense. This is bound to happen. It's happening in smaller countries right now, but it's going to happen here. Keeping these servers up costs money. Nintendo is a business, Sony's a business, Microsoft's a business. Once it's not profitable anymore to keep them open, they're going to close them. They did it already with the the Wii and the DS. They shut down that. They shut down Xbox. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. These servers will not last forever. Many games lose their servers and are now coasters. Even more recent games or games from last gen, they online only experiences come out, don't do well, gone. And the same is going to be with the shops. It's only a matter of time. It's the writing's on the wall. I mean, again, not many people are really downloading Wii U games to play, but I mean, I'm sure there are some, but it's just bound to happen. I don't need to go on a big tirade. There's plenty of people that feel the way I do.
Just refer back to episodes 195, 194, 193.
It's just what it is. I mean, I'm not against digital at all. In fact, I have no problem with people who choose to purchase digital and play digital. I like both. I think everyone should have an option.
Mm-hmm.
And digital only is the problem, because there's so many games that are lost. They are lost in the void.
Yeah.
There are games that you cannot play anymore unless you have a system with it downloaded. Yeah. And that's it. And not all of them are good games. Some of them are great games, but it still factors in that there are games, and it's not even like, lesser known stuff. I mean, Scott Pilgrim is obviously the number one on most people's list, but Turtles in Time had a remake that was digital only, gone. You can't get it anymore. You can't download it anymore. Not that it was an amazing remake, but it's still, for those turtle collectors, there's a big fan base there. They can't own every game now if they didn't get that one. And it just follows suit. So many. Look at the Rebirth games, the Castlevania and what was the other ones? Contra Rebirth. Yeah. Like those games are fantastic. Gone. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a Wii with them downloaded, you can't play them now. You can literally take $10 billion and go to Konami, and you can't buy that game or any of those games. And that, to me, is a problem. Yeah. Like, people should be – the games are meant to be played. Games are meant to be enjoyed. People should be allowed to play them at any point in time. Yeah. They should be available. Yeah. And when it's not.
Well, and it's cool that, like, really, I mean, you've talked about them before too, but there are a lot of companies that are making physical games of a lot of the digital ones right now to help preserve them and good for collectors and things like that, which is great. I love that the companies like that have started popping up because they're able to really give us a chance to play some of those games years down the line after they do shut down servers like that. And that's really, I think that was my initial approach at DS and 3DS, especially, or DSi, I guess a little bit, but especially 3DS, because I loved taking my system on the go and just having all the games on there. I think the very first time with my DS, when I used to run homebrew on it, which I don't recommend. We're not, promoting, all that stuff. That's all illegal and everything. But the games that I actually had, and I was able to, run homebrew. It was so great to be able to take it with me and not have to worry about all those little cartridges that I may lose on a plane or whatever. I just had the system. And so when the 3DS came around, I started downloading almost everything just out of convenience alone. But then when Wii U came along, and especially Switch, is when I've started kind of going back a little bit. And so I'll still do a lot of digital, but I have to think about it ahead of time. And I go, is this a game that I think I will want to play long after this system is gone? If it is, I'll buy digital. If it's something I want to keep and have it. If it's a game that I just want to toy around with, and it's probably not, a lot of indie games are like that, but not all of them. Some of them are fantastic, and I'll want to play for years and years. But I kind of have to go through that in my head now, because if it's a game that I think I want to, I'll a lot of times slide over to physical, because I know at some point it's going to be gone, and I want to maybe still play it, in the future.
Yeah. I also want to bring up Oni's in the chat talking about one of the positives of digital is the secondhand market is nothing goes to the developers anymore. Once you buy a game and you sell it to someone else, the developers don't get anything, and digital allows the developers to still reap money, and that's absolutely true, 100%, which is why I'm an advocate for both. But I will always personally buy physical, because I like to make sure that whenever I choose to play a game, I'm going to at least be able to play the game.
Right.
And of course, lately physical is developers are getting cheaper and cheaper. I mean, I've done plenty of rants on Crapcom for how many times they sell a 2-pack and only put one thing on the game, or
right.
the latest, the 2K games where like just 2 levels are on the game and on the card and the rest is download. That's crap. That's
right.
crappy. That's like a Physical, as we call them.
Right.
It is a fake physical, and that's happened on other systems too. And obviously updates. Like if a game is updated or patched later, the card or the disc has only the original version on it. But at least you can play the original.
Right.
And it's true that there is definitely negatives to that, and that's one of the reasons. Like when I was reading the Bubble Bobble thing, that's why. Strictly Limited, which that's one of their mission statements, is to have the complete game on the card, said we're going to be reissuing, or we're going to do something to get the full version of that game out there. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
There was another issue with Hollow Knight. I don't know if you know this. When Hollow Knight went physical, I forget if I think it was IM8-bit did it, or no, it was not. It was another company, but they put it out. And it advertised right there, a little sticker, includes all 4 DLC. When you popped in the game, you had a big download. And people were like, wait a minute, what's going on? And they addressed that the last of the 4 DLCs was actually not on the card. It was a download afterwards, and it was a free download, but it didn't include on the card. There was it wasn't submitted in time or whatever happened. So people complained to the point that reissued the game. They allowed you to send the card back if you wanted, and they reprinted the game. And now if you were to purchase the physical version of Hollow Knight, it actually has everything on the card. So it doesn't take up the memory card space, and you don't have to worry about it. And when the servers go down, it is the complete version of Hollow Knight now. Yeah. And I think that's the most important. Certain games like Celeste were held back, and Shovel Knight is a prime example. That was a launch title on the Switch, and obviously came up before it. And they stated they wanted to do a physical on the Switch, but they wanted everything. Right. And it didn't get physical until Treasure Trove was complete. And I applaud them for that, because that's the way physical games should be. They should absolutely be the complete version of the game. And if you remember back in like the 360, PS3 era, and even real before that with the Game of the Year editions, the disc used to be the complete version of the game. Now, if you buy a PS4 Game of the Year edition, oh man, I'm going to get Spider-Man Game of the Year. It's going to have everything. No, it's going to be the same exact disc with a piece of paper with a download code, and you could download everything. So you're still getting everything. You're just not getting everything on disc. And recently I did the Life is Strange games, the whole series. Love those series, but really pissed off about the Before the Storm disc, and especially the Life is Strange 2 disc, because Life is Strange 2 is the first 4 episodes with Captain Spirit, but the 5th one is a download code. And if you buy that used, you can't complete the game. You have to actually purchase the 5th episode. And the same with Before the Storm, you get the 3 episodes there, but if you want the farewell, there's a download code they give you, but it's not on the disc. That I hate. That is, just release the whole thing. And they started doing that with Telltale too. They did like the first Batman, not the Switch release, which did have it all on card. Like if you bought the PS4 version, it's a season pass disc with episode 1 on the disc, and the other ones you have to download. No, give us the whole thing, preserve it.
Yeah, especially for people like for a lot of them, like you're buying the physical. Not just because you don't want it, because you actually want the physical game. Like there's a lot more thought that goes into it than just like, it's a replacement for digital or for download. That's not what it is.
Resale value too.
Right.
Like GameStop can't sell the Resident Evil triple pack as the Resident Evil triple pack. It's Resident Evil 4.
Right.
They can't sell Resident Evil Origins in 1 collection. Yeah. It's Origins.
Yeah.
And that's just it. And the same with any type of secondhand. You have to sell only what's on the card.
I wonder if maybe they're maybe doing that on purpose, actually.
Well, do you remember the whole Spyro thing? Where, they put a Blu-ray. They couldn't put the 3 Spyro games on a Blu-ray, though they did eventually. But there was a big backlash. Why is only the first game on this Blu-ray?
Yeah.
I don't know. Developers are trying to maximize their profit. Hands down. Digital is a way they can do that, but they're getting cheap on the physical, and that just pisses people off and causes people to not even purchase your product. Do it fairly. Even if you make $5 on the physical, let's say you only make $5 in the physical, you're still making money. So if you sell 1 million of them, you're making $5 million.
Right.
You're still making money, and they're not making $5; they're making a little more. But still, the nicer you are to your fan base, the more they're willing to purchase from you.
Yeah.
You piss off your fan base, they're going to stop purchasing. And any type of business, your bread and butter is the repeat customer. And that's business 101. You keep a customer happy, they come back. That's great.
Yeah.
So
Oni's acknowledging that you got all fired up. I knew it was going to happen. We knew it.
that happens. It's all Greg's.
It's all Greg's. Going into the chat, Dave says he's asking if the shutdown affects Latin American countries only. It's actually limited Latin American countries, so not every Latin American country. It's only the ones that had limited access to the eShop already in some way, that they didn't have the full eShop. So Latin American countries like Brazil, I guess, is maybe considered that, and Mexico, they're fine. They're still up and everything. It's some of the ones that had the smaller access or whatever anyhow. And then Oni also said that Fosicle sounds like a mystery flavored popsicle, which I agree.
It does.
And let's see. And Dave also said that there's certain games that benefit from being digital on your system. So that is true. That you do have sometimes a more like the frame rate and stuff like that is affected. I've noticed even if you run a game from an SD card versus actually on the system itself versus on a cartridge, there are some games that will run better if they're installed on your system memory versus all those other things. So that's a real thing. I don't think it's probably not enough to really matter, but it is a thing. One of the things that I think of too, now that we've gotten away from Wii U and 3DS, those are in our past. Who knows what Nintendo's going to do in the future? But at least for now, with the Switch, we have a more like a normal quote system that maybe a lot of these games will get moved forward and can, if they maybe get new iterations, or they can like port them over in the future to new systems, and they could still have life that way. But you can't take like a 3DS or Wii U game is hard because they have the dual screen thing and all those sort of stuff. But a Switch game, moving it to another system that runs very similar to Switch, it could be ported in the future. So that could help some of those games have new life if they don't go physical.
Yeah, there's other issues with like Dave was talking about, like certain games. There are certain games that are try to be online, and EA is the worst at doing this. Where it's like, we're gonna add new online things that you can only do if you have connected to the online and make a more robust experience. And that idea spectacularly failed. If anyone remembers the remake of SimCity, and that was forced online, and people were pissed. And even Diablo 3. Outside the Switch version, if you want to play single player, you have to be connected to the internet, and that's stupid. Like, I'm playing Mass Effect Andromeda now, and every time I bring my PS4 outside of rest mode, it's like, you've been disconnected to the EA servers and you can't do multi. I don't care. I'm playing a single player game.
Right.
I hate things that force you to have these live servers. I hate them when they're just like, it's a single player game. I don't want multiplayer. I don't want online. I want to enjoy the single player experience. Don't make me connect to the internet. Yeah. Because once those servers go down, physical or not, the game is a coaster. Right. Even digital, it's a coaster.
Yeah. Dave's asking, when do we think Nintendo shuts down the 3DS and Wii U eShop servers worldwide? I don't know. What do you guys think? Greg, do you get any thoughts about that? Like, when do you think they're all shutting down?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, I know the Wii U is kind of quick shoved to the curb, but there also doesn't seem like they want to like completely cut the cord on it. So I don't know. I guess it just depends along until like when they determine that not enough people are like accessing it or making purchases on it. I mean, I'm sure it's obviously declined with the Switch, but there's probably still people that like to go, like, they are usually a generation behind when they like buy the console, just because it's a lot cheaper to buy the console and all the games are much more marked down and easier to get and easier to acquire. In some places, like obviously GameStop still has a lot of used copies of like a lot of Wii U games. So I would think that they probably want to still keep it going for at least a few more years, or like closer to the end of the Switch's life cycle, and it's replaced with like the Switch 2 or whatever. I mean, Nintendo always changes the name, obviously, every time they pretty much do a new console anyway. So I would think it might last until the following generation, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say. And the 3DS was chugging along with the Switch all the way through like the first year or two, still getting new games and everything. So I don't think they really want to jump to shut down the 3DS one any sooner, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's an easy answer, honestly. The easy answer is this: when it stops being profitable, that is when they're going to shut it down. If it stays profitable for 10 years, they will keep it up for 10 years. If it stops in 3, they're going to shut it down in 3. Because they're a business. They're not about making or about losing money. They're about making money. So if it's making money for them, they'll keep it up. Now, how well they maintain it is another story, but they'll keep it up. This is Nintendo we're talking about. They can't get the Switch online right. But yeah, that
Every
is.
Once
it could
in a
be
while, we still get a
2021.
Wii U game. So
Yeah. It could be 2021. It could be 2022. It could be 2025. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's that's the honest answer is when it stops being profitable, and that holds true for any online service.
Yeah.
And even an MMO, like, I want to play, World of Warcraft. That game's been going on for a while. When is that going to end? When it stops being profitable.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 11 is still going on. Why is it still going on with a paid subscription since 2002? Because Square's still making money.
Yeah, and I think with that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the 3DS eShop live longer than the Wii U one, because there's such a broader fan base out there. There's more users. Like, I think people, I still see people playing their 3DS, their 2DS on the go. 3 years into the Switch, I still see that. Over Christmas, I saw a guy that had a gigantic case on it, though. I was like, man, you afraid of like dropping it off the plane? Like, what? It's like this huge thing on it. But he was sitting there playing, his 3DS. So I feel like they would have a longer life than the Wii U, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah. Let's move on to our last news story, and it's a small one, but So a little homage to Oni from Nintendo Everything, because we're going to pull up their article here on the MyNintendo app that has released in Japan. So MyNintendo is, of course, your rewards program that Nintendo used to replace Club Nintendo and all that sort of thing. But in Japan, you actually have they have an app now that you can download on your smartphone in order to access news, purchase products, and even certain venues you can scan in with their QR code. So a lot of the stuff that the mobile app, the mobile site does, you can actually access on the app. And I think it even has, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it has access to your play history as well. So you can look through your play history for 3DS and Wii U, I believe, on there as well. So yeah, have you guys tried to download this Japan only app, and do you hope it comes to America? What do you think there, Barry?
The only way to see that information, because that's great for your personal thing, but sometimes it's nice just to see what your friends have been playing, or hey, you know what? I'm curious how many hours they put into this game. I just recently played it and I put 20 hours in. How much did they? Oh, they haven't played it, but I know they played it. Oh, they played it so long ago that it's gone. Like the 360, when the 360 came out, it was with achievements, and you looked at a friend. It actually showed you your common achievements at the start, right there, boom, and it was really nice. And you can compare. Oh, I've got 50 achievements. They've got 25, or they've got 75. I'd like to see them do that with the Switch.
Yeah. It looks like. Sorry, I think. Yep, that's what I thought. So for some of you guys, I accidentally had Barry muted for a bit, so you missed the beginning of what he said. So.
Wow.
I apologize. It was it had nothing to do with you. It was, I think, the last time that I was sharing a screen. Greg's daughter came in this, and so I muted it, and so it remembered that. So the last time. So I apologize.
I
remember
want
what you
everybody
said at the beginning of
listening, everybody listening, to see how they treat me here. They literally mute me.
You met your quota for words in that last rant. Sorry.
I get no respect anywhere I go. So I'm used to this at this point. What I was saying at the beginning is I did not download the app, and I might if it comes over here, but I feel I shouldn't have to download an app to do something I should be able to do on the Switch UI proper, which is just go back through and see all my games, how much time I've played on those games, and compare with my friends and how long they've played, and I shouldn't. I think Nintendo, they're doing things the Nintendo way, which isn't necessarily the smart way. And see now you got the chat against you. I like go chat. Thank you. I appreciate the respect.
That's true. Greg, what do you think about this app? Are you going to be rushing to download it, from the Japanese app store, or?
Well, no, I don't think I have access to the Japanese app store on my iPhone, but maybe, but probably not. I don't know. I don't really see much huge use for it. I mean, they don't really have enough stuff that I need to oh man, I need to check it, what the latest things are today. I mean, I barely even remember to log in once a week to get the free coins and do any outstanding missions and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it might make it a little bit easier to log in if it was on my phone, but I don't know. I'm definitely not be going out of my way to try to get it sooner than normal if that's the case.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think Dave says it pretty pretty well in the chat. I don't think I think Nintendo forgot about MyNintendo. Yeah, especially NOA for specifically. Yeah, Nintendo of America forgot about Nintendo and MyNintendo and our customers and pretty much everything. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's cool. What I really think, I don't know why can't this just be all lumped into just one Nintendo app on my phone? My Nintendo, the Nintendo online service, like, not that I love it, but there's some benefits. The Animal Crossing apps, a sub app in there is actually kind of fun, and it's cool to scan the QR codes and things like that. The chat, or like the voice chat, does work. It's janky, but it does work.
Janky, really? You had janky with it?
Well, it's just kind of weird that you have to, like, janky setup, not the service itself is janky, but just the setup that you have to connect to your phone and things like that. It works really smoothly. It's yeah.
I don't know how much you messed around with it, but Hassan and I actually did one time, and we discovered I left his island, and it gave me a message like, "Oh, you need to disconnect because you're off the island." But it let us talk for about another 5 to 10 minutes with me off the island, which means you should be able to connect via like Skype or anything else, Discord, just have a voice chat with your friends using that app, not being on the islands together. It clearly works,
right?
But Nintendo, as backwards as they are with technology, refuses to let you do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the more I use Discord and stuff like that, I could see, like, there are games that I use Discord with, so I could see why they'd think that, and they could tie it in together. But I'd also just like it to run on the system itself too. Like, just bake it into the system. Like, that'd be a whole lot easier. But anyway, yeah. So who knows if we're gonna get it? Let us know you guys' thoughts about this app. Would you want it to come to North America, to the West and everything, or UK with this just being in Japan only? Oni says that he agrees on the singular Nintendo phone app. That'd be great to just include it all together. Yeah, that's where I'm with you guys. Like, if they rope it in, cool. If they don't, I might download it and play around with it, but it's not something that I have to have. But yeah.
We kind of just become like Miitomo to me, where it's just like, oh, I just barely logging into it just because, and
yeah, for sure. All right, well, that's the big news and everything for over the last couple weeks. Yeah, we're still more to talk about and everything, but we will be back. May 12th is our next podcast, so I'm sure that there's going to be some things over the next couple of weeks, and we'll talk about that on our next podcast on May 12th. Again, still more to talk about before we wrap up, but just want to thank you guys. Take a moment to thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for jumping in the chat and everything. It's been awesome to hear what you're thinking and everything. Sometimes it's even hard to keep up because you guys are chatting so much, so that's really cool. But yeah, let's talk about what's coming up over the next couple weeks until our next episode on May 12th. We do have a few games that are going to be coming out. Not a whole lot. Some notable ones, like I said, Ninjala exclusive Ninja Club came out today for free. Also, Moving Out was another one of those indie games that came, and that also I think has a physical release that came out today as well. But Streets of Rage 4 is coming out on April 30th, so just a couple days away. Yeah, there was nothing else that like really big that stood out to me. But what are you guys excited about playing that may be coming out over the next couple of weeks, or that you haven't gotten to yet, and you're going to be hopefully playing that over the next couple of weeks until our next podcast? Barry, let's go to you first.
The main thing I'm planning on playing is Chasm of Mana. I'm watching you scroll through, and it's sad to see like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting a physical in every region but the United States. The United States, it's digital only, and it's like seeing things like that just like angers me. It's like, why do you hate us so much over here?
Yeah.
The Streets of Rage 4 is one I'm very much looking forward to, but I have that physically pre-ordered from Limited Run, so I'll be waiting for that. But yeah, the main thing is going to be Chasm of Mana, and that's going to absorb me for at least a little bit.
Cool. Greg, how about you?
I know in that when we covered the Indie Direct, I had expressed interest in that Level Head game. With everything happening with Mario Maker 2 and other games that have come out, I probably won't end up picking that one up. I know Super Mash also is coming out, and that one I might actually pick up because that one was pretty cool. I can merge the two styles of like two genres of games, and it makes like a new one every time. So that one I will probably still end up picking up. I don't know if I'll play it before the next podcast, but I do anticipate to pick that one up. Those were the only two ones that really stood out to me. So
Yeah, cool. Let's see. Jakester says he's excited about starting Tokyo Mirage, Trials of Mana, and continuing in Fire Emblem and Dragon Quest XI, which is cool. That's a lot of games over the next couple weeks, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
Barrett,
that's an
Greg,
awesome list.
he might be competing with you on the number of games next time, Greg. I don't know. Let's see. Dave's gonna be playing Deadly Premonition Origins. Oh wait, he said Deadly Premonition's Origins is 50% off. Sorry, and he said that's very tempting. Jakester's also going to be playing Ori. Man, Jakester, you're going to be playing a lot of games over the next couple of weeks. That's going to be awesome. Jakester does stream, so if you haven't, if you joined our Discord, you can see all of Jakester's streams in there too. You can check those out when he plays all those games. For me, continuing in a lot of the games that I have been playing, of course, but as Barry alluded to, we're going to be doing Damaged in Transit.
Yes.
And so we'll be doing eventually a game chat about that one, hopefully pretty soon. So we're gonna be, I gotta get some time in with that, so I actually have some stuff to talk about with it. We're like, it's a great title screen. That's about all I saw. And then
No, you gotta.
there's also another one that we're going to be doing, probably either stream like first impressions or a game chat. I've talked about it before, but Save Your Nuts is another indie game. It's kind of a fun little like squirrel based game where you like go and grab the nuts and like hoard them and everything. I'm playing that one and hopefully doing a game chat on that one fairly soon. And then really looking forward to getting finally into, because I didn't get over the last couple of weeks, the Trials of Mana demo. At least spending a good chunk of time with the demo. We'll see if I eventually get the full game, but definitely want to play the demo through. And I'm not even gonna touch Torna. So I just want to throw that in there. For you guys that are only listen to the podcast after the fact, you miss so much. You should definitely join us on the video version, specifically live. Because then you see places that I mess up and I accidentally mute Barry. And then you also get to see lovely comments, or not comments, non-verbal comments, we'll say, from Barry's face when I say I'm going to ignore Torna. You should definitely check out the video every once in a while.
I say I definitely felt the uncomfortable silence. I was like, how did Barry not say anything? But I was like, he probably was muted.
He's probably muted.
I'm not muted at all.
That's fantastic.
Steve just hates good things, which is why he mutes me.
Oh man, it's been great to hang out with you guys tonight, as always, but especially tonight. It's been fun as we're all quarantined together separately, playing a lot of video games and just having fun and trying to stay sane as we avoid the coronavirus and all that stuff. For all you guys out there, we do hope that you guys stay safe and healthy through all this. And just a reminder from NintendoFuse, has nothing to do with video games. Just make sure you guys are staying smart out there and taking care of each other. We want to hopefully get back to quote unquote normal life as soon as possible. And so if we just hang in there together, take care of each other, play some video games together, do safe things like that. But watch out for each other. That's the bigger community. I think that's one of the cool things that I've always loved, going to events like PAX and Comic-Con and the other events that are out there, even E3 and things like that, is that bigger gaming community is just really cool. And so let's do our part to take care of each other and watch out for each other during this time. So thank you guys so much. Again, we'll be back May 12th with our next episode. Greg and Barry, it's always great to talk video games with you guys. Do you guys have any parting thoughts before we sign off for tonight? Greg, anything?
Just as you, I'll kind of echo what you said. Just stay safe and make sure you're careful, and obviously try to stay home if you can, and be protected when you go out. So we got to get through all this, and everything will be back to normal before we know it. Hopefully. So.
Yeah. Barry, anything?
Yeah, just want to thank all the essential workers out there that are right now keeping society running. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you to every one of you. And let's just hope that we get through this, as soon as possible, but not too early. Also want to say, if you look at gameplay, and we're going to be doing the game chat for Damage in Transit again, a reminder, there's the contest going on this week. On my Twitter, you can find the link on how to enter that. There's a code from the developers we're going to be giving away. So please enter that and give the developers some love. They're really cool people. They're an indie group. And yeah, look forward to that game chat coming soon.
Cool. Well, thank you guys again. Join us in the Discord. Join us on social media if you haven't yet. And we'll see you next time. And hopefully between episodes and Discord. Have a great night and happy gaming.
Have a good one.